The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows as Zara Vex placed a fresh cup of coffee on Damien Cross's desk, black, 2 sugars, exactly 185 degrees. She'd been making it the same way every morning for 3 years. "Your 9 o'clock with the Tokyo investors is confirmed," Zara said, standing at professional attention. "I've prepared the presentation materials and arranged for translation services." Damien didn't look up from his laptop. "Fine. Cancel my lunch with Senator Morrison. Reschedule for next week." "Already done. You have a dentist appointment at 3 that you've rescheduled 4 times. I've moved your 4 o'clock back to accommodate." Beneath her skin tone modifier, Zara's natural violet skin remained hidden. She was Celestian, sent to Earth 5 years ago to study human workplace dynamics and power structures. Her people had evolved beyond hierarchical systems, and the Celestian Institute wanted to understand why humans tolerated being invisible to those they served. What Zara hadn't anticipated was experiencing that invisibility herself. For 3 years, she'd been the perfect executive assistant to Damien Cross, billionaire CEO of Cross Technologies. She anticipated his needs, solved problems before they reached him, managed every aspect of his professional and personal life with seamless efficiency, and for 3 years, Damien had looked through her as if she were furniture. "Your mother called. Again. She wants you to attend the charity gala next month. I told her you'd think about it." Damien finally glanced up, but his eyes skimmed past her face to the window behind her. "Whatever. You handle it." "I always do," Zara said, but he'd already returned to his laptop. She retreated to her desk outside his office, the familiar ache of being unseen settling in her chest. She documented everything for her research, the way humans in power positions often failed to acknowledge those who served them, how competence became invisible when performed seamlessly, but research didn't make it hurt less. Her phone buzzed with a message from her best friend Maya. "Still invisible today," Zara typed back. Like a ghost in a very expensive suit, the week progressed in its usual rhythm. Zara managed crises, coordinated schedules, and ensured Damien's life ran like clockwork. He passed her in hallways without acknowledgement. He took calls while she briefed him. He said, "Thank you," exactly 0 times. Friday afternoon, his assistant from HR delivered news that made Zara's stomach drop: mandatory company retreat to the coast. All senior staff and their assistants required to attend. 3 days at the beach house, Damien said when she briefed him, still not meeting her eyes. "Team building nonsense. Make sure I have the master suite and schedule work time each morning. I don't do trust falls or whatever corporate bonding they're planning." "Understood." The retreat began Saturday morning. Zara drove herself to the coastal property, a sprawling modern beach house with multiple levels and ocean views. She'd packed professionally, business casual clothes, laptop, work files. The first day was tedious corporate exercises. Zara participated efficiently, documenting everything for her research. Damien remained aloof, clearly present only because attendance was mandatory. He looked through her 17 times by her count. Sunday morning, she woke early before anyone else stirred. The research team needed her monthly report, and she'd been too busy managing Damien's life to focus on her own work, but the morning was beautiful, and Zara had brought a bikini on impulse, a deep purple that nearly matched her true skin tone. She decided to swim first, work later. The beach was deserted at 6 a.m. Zara deactivated her modifier briefly, letting her violet skin breathe in the early light. The ocean called to her, and she ran toward it, diving into the waves with joy she rarely allowed herself. She swam for 30 minutes, feeling more like herself than she had in months. Finally, she emerged from the water, wringing out her long dark hair, the purple bikini clinging to her frame, and froze. Damien Cross stood at the water's edge, coffee mug in hand, staring at her with an expression she'd never seen on his face. That he wasn't looking through her anymore. He was looking at her, really looking, and the intensity in his gray eyes made her breath catch. For a long moment, neither moved. The sun rose behind him, waves crashed at their feet, and something fundamental shifted in the space between them. Damien's coffee mug slipped from his fingers, landing in the sand unnoticed. His eyes traced the curves of her body, the water droplets on her skin, the way the purple fabric contrasted with her tone. His jaw clenched, his hands fisted at his sides. Zara realized with shock that she'd left her modifier deactivated. Her skin held a slight violet shimmer in the early light, not obvious, but noticeable if someone was actually looking at her. Which Damien very definitely was. "Mr. Cross," she said, crossing her arms over her chest. "I didn't realize anyone else was awake." He blinked, seeming to snap out of whatever trance he'd been in. "Zara." Her name came out rough, like he'd never said it before. Like he was testing how it felt on his tongue. "I should go change," she said, moving past him toward the house. His hand shot out, catching her wrist gently. "Wait." Zara looked down at his hand on her skin, then up at his face. His gray eyes held something new: awareness, heat, confusion. Damien started, then seemed unable to finish. His thumb absently stroked the inside of her wrist, and Zara felt electricity shoot up her arm. "You should let go of me," she said quietly. He did, immediately, stumbling back a step. "I'm sorry. That was inappropriate." "Yes, it was. I should go. I'll just." He gestured vaguely toward the house, then practically fled, leaving his coffee mug abandoned in the sand. Zara stood alone on the beach, heart racing, skin tingling where he'd touched her. In 3 years, Damien Cross had barely acknowledged her existence. Now, because of a bikini and some ocean water, he'd looked at her like she was the only thing in his universe. Zara reactivated her modifier, watching her skin shift back to fully human tones. She should feel vindicated. Her research had always suggested that humans valued appearance over substance, but instead, she felt angry. And hurt. And something else she didn't want to examine too closely. Back in her room, she received a message on her work phone: "Cancel my morning meetings. I need the day to work alone." Zara stared at the message. In 3 years, Damien had never cancelled meetings. Never taken a day off. Never, ever been thrown off balance. One bikini. That's all it took for him to finally see her, and Zara didn't know whether to laugh or scream. She chose research instead, typing furiously into her report: "Human males appear unable to acknowledge competent females until physical attraction overrides professional boundaries. Subject's behavior changed dramatically upon visual stimulus." Conclusion: invisibility is a choice, not an accident. But as she wrote, she kept seeing the look in Damien's eyes, not just attraction, but something like recognition. Like he'd been asleep for 3 years and had finally woken up, and that complicated everything. Monday morning arrived with uncomfortable inevitability. Zara dressed in her usual professional attire, tailored pants, blouse, hair in a neat bun, and prepared for what she assumed would be a return to being invisible. Instead, Damien was waiting by her desk when she arrived. "Good morning," he said, actually meeting her eyes. "I wanted to apologize for yesterday. My behavior was completely inappropriate." Zara set down her briefcase carefully. "It's fine. Forgotten. I also wanted to." He paused, seeming uncharacteristically uncertain. "I realized I've never actually thanked you. For everything you do. You basically run my entire life, and I've taken that completely for granted." Zara stared at him. "Are you feeling all right?" "I'm serious. You're phenomenal at your job, Zara. I should have acknowledged that years ago." "What changed?" she asked bluntly. Damien's jaw tightened. "I saw you. Really saw you. And I realized what an ass I've been. So one bikini was all it took for you to notice I've been keeping your life together for 3 years?" The words came out sharper than intended, but Zara was tired of biting her tongue. Damien flinched. "That's fair. But I want to do better. Starting now." The week that followed was surreal. Damien started saying good morning. He made eye contact. He asked her opinion on things. He remembered she took her coffee with cream, no sugar. He noticed when she worked late and told her to go home that he looked at her constantly, not inappropriate staring, but genuine attention. Like he was memorizing her face, trying to understand how he'd missed her for 3 years. It was flattering. And infuriating. Friday evening, they were working late in his office on a merger proposal. Zara sat across from his desk, reviewing contracts, when she felt his eyes on her again. "Is there something on my face?" she asked without looking up. "No. Can I ask you something personal?" Zara finally met his gaze. "That depends on the question. Why did you stay?" "For 3 years, I was dismissive and ungrateful. You could have gotten a better position anywhere. Why stay?" She considered lying, giving some professional answer. But she was tired of being unseen, tired of hiding. "Honestly? I kept thinking maybe tomorrow you'd finally see me. That my work would speak for itself. That I'd earn your respect through competence and dedication." She smiled bitterly. "Turns out I just needed a bikini." Damien stood abruptly, moving around the desk. "That's not fair. Isn't it though? 3 years of being invisible. Then one morning on a beach, and suddenly I exist. I've always." They were standing too close now. Zara could smell his cologne, see the flecks of darker gray in his eyes, feel the heat radiating from his body. "You want to know me?" she asked quietly. "Here's something. I hate how you make me feel invisible one moment and hypervisible the next. I hate that physical attraction is apparently the only thing that makes me real to you. And I hate that despite all of that, part of me still wants." She stopped, but it was too late. "Wants what?" Damien's voice had gone low, dangerous. "Nothing. Forget it." His hand came up to cup her cheek, thumb tracing her cheekbone. "Tell me." Zara's breath caught. Every professional instinct screamed at her to step back, to maintain boundaries. But 3 years of being invisible had left her starving for this kind of attention. "I want you to see me," she whispered. "Really see me. Not just the woman in a bikini, but all of me." "Then show me," Damien murmured, and then his lips were on hers. The kiss was electric, desperate, 3 years of tension exploding in a single moment. Zara melted into it, her hands fisting in his shirt, pulling him closer. Damien's hand slid into her hair, pulling it free from its bun. He kissed her like he was drowning and she was air, like he'd been waiting for this as long as she had. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, reality crashed back. "This is a bad idea," Zara said, but didn't move away. "Terrible idea," Damien agreed, his forehead resting against hers. "You're my boss. I know. This could destroy my career. I know. So we should stop. We should." Neither of them moved. Zara pulled back slightly, meeting his eyes. "Why now? Why not 3 years ago? Or 2 years ago? Why did it take seeing me half-naked to finally notice me?" Damien's hands dropped, his expression pained. "Because I'm an idiot? Because I convinced myself you were off-limits and used that as an excuse not to look too closely? That's not good enough. I know it's not." He ran a hand through his hair. "The truth is, I've been attracted to you since the day you started. But you were my assistant, and I told myself that made it inappropriate. So I forced myself not to see you that way. I made you invisible to protect us both." "Protect yourself, you mean?" "Yes. I was protecting myself from wanting something I couldn't have. And in the process, I hurt you. I'm sorry, Zara. I'm so incredibly sorry." Zara wanted to stay angry, to rebuild her walls. But the raw honesty in his voice made that impossible. "I need to think," she said finally. "About what this means. About whether I can trust this." Take all the time you need. She gathered her things and headed for the door. But she paused with her hand on the handle. For the record, she said without turning around, I've been attracted to you since the day I started too. But I earned your respect first before expecting anything more. You should have done the same. She left him standing alone in his office, the taste of him still on her lips and her heart in absolute chaos. Zara avoided Damien for 3 days, working remotely and communicating only through email. But Wednesday evening, he showed up at her apartment. We need to talk, he said when she opened the door. I'm not ready. I am. Please, Zara. Let me say this. She stepped aside, letting him enter her small but cozy apartment, the first time he'd seen where she actually lived. Damien looked around, taking in the bookshelves, the artwork, the plants thriving in window boxes. This is beautiful. It's so, you. You don't know me well enough to say that. Then let me learn. Please. He turned to face her. These past 3 days have been hell. I can't concentrate. I can't think about anything but you. About how badly I screwed up. About how much I want a real chance. A chance at what? An affair with your assistant? That's a great career move for me. No. A chance at something real. I want to date you, Zara. Properly. Out in the open. Your board would never allow it. Then I'll deal with the board. You're worth it. Zara shook her head. You say that now. But you don't even really know me. You saw me in a bikini and decided I was worth noticing. That's not enough to build anything on. You're right, Damien admitted. So let me know you. Really know you. Starting now. Tell me something true. Something you've never told me before. Zara looked at him for a long moment. Then she made a decision that terrified her. All right. Something true. She reached for her wrist and deactivated her skin modifier. The change rippled across her body, skin shifting from human beige to luminous violet. Her eyes changed too, becoming more vibrant, slightly larger. Damien's eyes widened with shock. What? I'm not human, Zara said steadily. I'm Celestian. From a planet called Celestia. I came here to study human workplace dynamics. To understand why humans tolerate being invisible to those in power. Damien stepped closer, reaching out slowly. When she didn't pull away, his fingers traced her violet cheek with reverence. You're even more beautiful like this, he murmured. Zara laughed bitterly. Of course you'd say that. Because appearance is all you see. That's not fair, and you know it. Damien's gray eyes met hers intensely. I notice you now, Zara. Not just how you look, but who you are. Your dry sense of humor. The way you hum while organizing files. How you take your coffee. That you read poetry during lunch breaks. The fact that you've been studying us like we're fascinating creatures. You noticed all that? I've been noticing everything about you since the beach. And yes, seeing you in that bikini woke me up. But what's kept me awake is discovering the person I should have been seeing all along. Pretty words, Zara said, but her voice wavered. True words. He cupped her violet face in his hands. I don't care that you're alien. I don't care what planet you're from. I care that you're brilliant and strong and you've put up with my nonsense for 3 years. I care that when you smile, really smile, it lights up the room. I care that you're the best thing in my life, and I almost missed you completely. Damien. Let me earn you, Zara. Let me prove I can see you, all of you, not just the parts that are convenient or attractive. Let me show you that I can be worthy of you. Zara felt tears building. I'm scared. What if this is just infatuation? What if you get bored once the novelty wears off? Then I'll spend every day proving I won't. He leaned his forehead against hers. Please. Give me a chance. Against every instinct screaming caution, Zara whispered, okay. When Damien kissed her this time, it was different. Softer. Reverent. Like he was kissing someone precious, not just desirable. And for the first time in 3 years, Zara felt truly seen. They agreed to keep the relationship quiet initially, not hidden, but private while they figured things out. The next 2 months were a revelation for both of them. Damien learned that Zara loved old movies and terrible puns. That she'd taught herself 6 languages. That she'd written a thesis on human power dynamics that would have revolutionized Earth sociology if she could publish it. Zara learned that Damien's coldness had been armor against a childhood of emotional neglect. That he volunteered at a youth center teaching coding. That he was terrified of being vulnerable because the last woman he'd loved had used him for his money. They fell into an easy rhythm, professional at work, passionate in private. It was perfect. Until Victoria Kane walked back into Damien's life. She appeared at his office unannounced one Monday, tall and elegant in designer clothes, dripping with old money confidence. "Hello, darling," Victoria purred. "Miss me?" Damien's face went carefully blank. "Victoria. What are you doing here?" "I've reconsidered. We were good together before that silly misunderstanding. I'm willing to give you another chance." Zara, at her desk outside, felt her blood run cold. Victoria Kane, Damien's ex-fiancée who'd broken his heart 5 years ago by admitting she'd only wanted his money. "There's nothing to reconsider," Damien said coldly. "We're done." "Are we?" "Because I've been doing some interesting research." Victoria pulled out a folder. "About your assistant. The one you've been spending so much time with lately." Zara stood, ready to intervene, but Victoria's next words froze her. "Did you know Cross Technologies requires biometric scans for all employees? And that your assistant's scans came back unusual? Non-human markers." "Fascinating, really." Damien's face went pale. "Get out." "I will. After we chat about my very reasonable proposal. You marry me, as originally planned, and these scans disappear. Or I send them to every government agency I can think of. I'm sure they'd love to study an actual alien. You're blackmailing me. I'm offering you a choice, darling. Me, or your purple-skinned secretary's freedom." After Victoria left, Damien emerged looking shell-shocked. "Zara. I heard." She was already packing her desk. "I'll resign." "Disappear." "You won't." "No." Damien grabbed her hands. "We'll fight this. Together." But the board got involved. They pressured Damien to end the relationship, to avoid scandal. His company's reputation was on the line. "Maybe it's better this way," Zara said that evening in his office. "I was always going back to Celestia eventually. This just speeds up the timeline." "Don't say that. Be realistic, Damien. Your ex-fiancée is blackmailing you. Your board wants me gone. And honestly, maybe you were only attracted to the novelty anyway. That's not true, and you know it." The next morning, Damien called an emergency all-staff meeting. The entire company crowded into the main conference hall, buzzing with speculation. Zara stood at the back, heart pounding, having no idea what Damien planned. He took the stage, and the room fell silent. "Thank you all for coming. I've called this meeting to address rumors that will likely surface in the next 24 hours about my personal life and about a member of our team." He gestured to Zara, who froze as all eyes turned to her. "This is Zara Vex. You know her as my executive assistant. What you don't know is that she's also Celestian, an extraterrestrial researcher who came to Earth to study human workplace dynamics." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Zara's modifier flickered, unable to handle the surge of emotion. Her skin shifted slightly violet. Someone has attempted to use this information to blackmail me, Damien continued. They wanted me to end my relationship with Zara to protect the company's reputation. But I'm here to tell you all something important, I won't do it. He looked directly at Zara, his gray eyes holding hers. For 3 years, Zara has been the backbone of this company. She's managed everything from my schedule to major client relationships. She's brilliant, dedicated, and quite possibly the reason Cross Technologies has been so successful lately. And I was too blind to see her. His voice grew stronger. I was blind until one moment made me actually look at her. And once I did, I saw someone extraordinary. Someone I fell in love with. Someone I will not give up to protect my reputation or this company's bottom line. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. If the board demands I choose between Zara and my position as CEO, I choose Zara. If society can't handle the fact that she's from another planet, that's society's problem, not hers. And if anyone here has an issue with our relationship or her origins, you're welcome to resign. He stepped down from the stage and walked through the silent crowd directly to Zara. I'm choosing you, he said quietly. Publicly. Irrevocably. Your move. Zara felt tears streaming down her violet-tinged cheeks. You're insane. Probably. Is it working? Before she could respond, her communicator buzzed with an urgent message, recall notice. Unauthorized revelation. Report immediately for memory erasure and reassignment. Zara looked at the message, then at Damien, then at the hundreds of employees staring at them with expressions ranging from shock to support to curiosity. They want me to come back, she said. They'll erase my memories of Earth. Of you. What do you want? Zara thought about 3 years of being invisible. About a bikini that changed everything. About a man who'd finally learned to truly see her. I want to stay. She typed her response, I decline recall. I choose permanent Earth assignment and accept exile status. The device went dark. No going back now. Damien pulled her close, kissing her in front of everyone. And when they broke apart, the room erupted, not in protest, but in applause. Later, in his office, Zara's modifier finally gave out completely, her violet skin glowing softly in the dim light. So, she said. You gave up your reputation, possibly your company, and any chance of a normal life. For me. Best decision I ever made. Damien pulled her into his arms. Though I should clarify, I didn't give up the company. The board voted to support us. Turns out people appreciate, and Victoria sent the scans to the government. Who thanked her for the information, filed it appropriately, and did absolutely nothing. Apparently, they've known about Celestian researchers for years. There's a whole diplomatic protocol. Zara laughed. She blackmailed you with information that was pointless? Karma's beautiful like that. She looked up at him, this man who'd been blind for 3 years and was now seeing her more clearly than anyone ever had. I'm sorry it took a bikini, Damien said softly. I should have seen you from day one. Maybe, Zara agreed. But we all have our blind spots. What matters is that you learn to look. Really look. And what I see, Damien murmured, kissing her softly, is the most extraordinary woman in any world. 6 months later, at a small ceremony blending human and Celestian traditions, they committed to each other officially. Zara wore purple, both in honor of her true nature and because Damien said it was his new favorite color. I came to Earth to study why humans tolerate being invisible, Zara told their gathered friends and family. What I learned is that sometimes invisibility is imposed by others' blindness. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one bikini, one beach, one recognition, to shatter that blindness forever. She looked at Damien. You were blind for 3 years. But when you finally saw me, you chose to keep looking. To see all of me, human and alien, assistant and partner, imperfect and extraordinary.